Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to yet another telecast of Babu for Heritage video channel and the series on temple architecture. So today, in the series of temple architecture in a granite shell, we are going to talk about dravida vimana and how the sanctum construction is happening. The sanctum, which has evolved from a very simple shed like this one into the wooden architecture, and many of the features in the wooden architecture have been reflected in the cave temples and the monolithics. And later on, when we shifted to structural rock temples, which enabled man to build temples anywhere, not necessarily in places where the rock is available. So this has expanded him to build tall and wider and grand temples. Many of these temples are structured in the same way to ensure that these withstand the test of time. All these temples are there for more than 1000 years plus, standing in a grand manner. So now let us see how this dravida vimana, which is of the southern style, the sanctum is structured. Normally, when we see a vimana, this is the vimana, this contains two major parts. One, the base sanctum, where the god lives, and this is normally constructed fully on granite, later temples. Later on, the superstructure started developing it. Initial superstructure was also in granite, but later on, when it became larger, taller, and other things, they started optimizing and start building the superstructure in terms of brick and mortar, the sudai, which will be of lighter material, but it can last only 200 plus years. So this is how the structure is done. There is a separate video on how the superstructure is evolved and it is constructed. But for this video, we are going to discuss on how the Kalkara, this is how it is called in Tamil Nadu, or the base sanctum is constructed in granite. The entire thing is not fully granite. That's what we are going to see now. So here in this session, briefly in 10-15 minutes, we are going to see how the sanctum is constructed with a combination of granite or sandstone or any other stones and complemented with other building material in a structured way so that there is efficiency and there is also ease of construction. When the land for the temple construction is finalized, it might be on a base rock bed, or it might be in a normal soil where it is done. So what they do is, once they identify the basement, they build this a pit with the granite structure, a pit, and fill them with sand. So this sandbox is the base. Even when we talk about very big temples like Tanjavur temple, which is around 200 feet high, the basement is not going deep 20, 30 feet below. It is a mere 6 feet plus, where they have built a sandbox, and then in that the big grain sand is put up, and on that the entire pedestal and other things are standing. So this model adjusts the shift and then handles the earthquake and other challenges. The big temple has handled several earthquakes during its 1,000 years of existence, and one of the reasons why it did not collapse is because of the sandbox balance. On top of the sandbox, we start building the pedestal or upapida. This upapida is consisting of members that are similar to your adhisthana. Where the I had taken a simple upapida which contains of Sanctum and Kandapadam and Patika. So this is a very basic one. Similarly, this ball-like structure is built around and on four sides, and the pit around inside this is filled with mix of granite and other boulders and then filled in so that it is tightly packed. So this is the foundation. It is not a solid granite. It is granite on the outside and rubble on the inside. On top of it, there is a member called Upanam of the Adhisthana is structured. This is slabs spread all over the place, covering the entire area of the vimana. This is the base slab. So this is where the load will be distributed down this. On top of it, the wall portion of Jagati segment, which is a rectangular member, and after that there is a semicircular member which is called Kumudam. This semicircular member is can be circular or it can be three pata or 8 faces or 16 faces. Again, going still inwards is the condom, which is something similar to your neck. And after the neck, you have one more optional member called Kapotam. So if this is existing, then it is called Kapodabandha Adhisthana. Sometimes there is a freeze also happens on top of it, which is a repeating freeze of yali or elephant or horse or lion or something else, Buddha. So if it is there, it is called in a different way. On top of it, this kind of wall is built on all the four sides, and inside a finer rubble is filled up and packed so that it doesn't cave in. On top of it, to spread the load, there is another slab called Patika which was put in. So normally after condom, in simpler ones, Patika will come in, then we will say that as a Padabandha Adhisthana. If the Kapodam is also there, is Kapodabandha. or if you have the Jakati in a Padma-like shape instead of a rectangle, then it is called Padma Bandha Adhisthana. Like this, the Adhisthana function is to take the load of the vimana, wall and superstructure on top of it, spread it on the two major sides, and then slowly expand it outwards. So, this is the area of the temple. See how it is expanded here and how it is expanded here into a wider area so that it can take additional load and it can be built at additional height. So this is Upapida, this is Adhisthana. After this, we go to the wall part. Before we build the wall part, the first structure of wall is the Vedika, which is a beading on top of which all the ornamental members sit in except the post-ups. On top of Vedika, you will be having the ornamental wall or the stamba kind of a pilasters on top of it. On top of it, you will have a podika-like member. So this wall structure is repeated all around the place, and the circular structure or rectangular structure is designed on top of the attica. Once this is done, this won't be able to stand and it won't be able to handle the load. So what we do is, we build two walls in the inner side, which can sometimes dug up and go to the bottom level also. So these two walls are the inner walls. When you see from sanctum, the sanctum is supposed to be bland and where there is no ornamentation. It is like a womb, it is dark. So this is the inner wall, this is the outer wall. So when we see from sanctum, it will be just a square, whereas from outside, we will see all sorts of ornamentation in the granite. These two walls are not standing alone. In between, for the compaction and for flexibility, we again fill finer rubble which is packed between this and this, so that you have a robust wall like this. Similarly, here also it is filled in. So now the construction is complete up to the wall stage. So this is the bitty portion. After this bitty portion, we go to the next one of putting the roof around it. How it is done? We have one slab flat member or a series of flat members which are stacked one after other in a structured corbelling way. This is called the first level uttaram, first level beam. On top of it, you will have extensions like Valabi, which is called dentil, which are again repeating structures like your yali, which are available inside the next member. So this won't be visible and we need to see in the next member, which is called kapota or cornice. The function of this extension is that this extends quite a far distance managed by a load balancing extension on the other side. So the purpose of this kapota is to protect these structures from rain as well as sunset, so that when rain falls, it will fall only here and this will not become wet. This area, Valabi, has got beautiful pieces like yali trees. Here, the yali trees will be mostly damaged due to vandalism and other things, whereas here, the Valabi related pieces, if it is available, it will be beautiful and it will be well protected. So, there is a place to see for yali trees and others. On top of it, there is one more layer of yali very in kapota, like after the kapota, where there is a repeated piece. So this is the topmost member of the roof. So these four members are called as components of prastara or the roof. So here we have the base, Upapedam, and the Adhisthana part, and we have the Pitti or the wall part and the roof part. So most of the early 3rd, 4th centuries temples were only up to this, and only later on they started developing superstructure around this so that it become taller and taller. So when you have a very large superstructure on top of it, this load has to come and then get handled in the bottom cell. That's why we are building so much of infrastructure by way of double walls, the inner wall going all the way, the outer wall gradually expanding the load from this width to this width and again wider width so that the pressure is spread outwards. This is also done in a modern structure by way of sloped pillars, but it is an ugly flat slope, whereas in early days, our forefathers have implemented the same thing by doing beautiful ornamental different shaped members which are gradually going outwards and then spread the load doing the same function. So this in a nutshell gives how a dravida style vimana with various components is actually built in the temple vimana construction, which is being built first, second, third, and third. Once, just to give a recap, this is how the structure is. We have sand base and we build the Ukubida components, fill up the sand, and then put a Ubanam slab, build up the Adhisthana components around the place, and then again fill up the sands. Then we build a flat slab patika so that the load is spread all over the place. Then you start building the wall components. You build it around all over the place. And then here we start extending by putting the inner wall also so that the sanctum is bland and outside is ornamental. And then there is a gap which is being filled by rubble and granite stones. So after the wall is built, we built three-level roof are called prastara by extending and putting ornamental slopes and other details. So this is topped by Yalivari. So this in a nutshell is a typical Dravida vimana with no superstructure where God comes in and lives in. So with this, we conclude the short video. If you want to see similar videos, subscribe to Babu for Heritage, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and all the other social media, or you can connect me in mobile or in email. My YouTube channel contains more than 50 own presentations now, and a lot of curated videos, the best of the industry videos, classified by 70 plus playlists on various heritage topics. So looking forward to see you. Looking forward to see you in the next video where we will be discussing some of the other aspects of temple architecture and temple building. Till then, goodbye, namaste.